Amid the latest outbreak, there are growing calls from state premiers for a reduction in the number of international arrivals. But there are still thousands of Australians stranded overseas with little chance of returning anytime soon, many of them in India. Shyam Dave has been stranded in India since February last year. He joins me now from Ahmedabad. Good afternoon and thank you for your time today. Firstly, how long have you been trying to come home for? You've been coming for more than a year, I now understand. And have you been able to secure a seat at any time since then?
Well, not really. I had a returning flight on March 2020 last year. It was on 30 March. But before that, there was a lockdown in India and, it keeps on extending. And then after, whenever I try to secure a flight, it just gets cancelled. The low fare flights are getting cancelled and they are rescheduling for the higher prices. And I have registered myself with DFET as well since April 2020. But to be honest, no productive help I'm getting. All I'm getting is the flight schedules and everything. But whenever I try to book those flights, within just 30 seconds, everything gets sold out. So it's been more than a year now.
Aside from the higher prices and the fact that fewer flights are flying, are there other obstacles that you can see which are in your path from returning to Australia?
Basically, the flight availability is a major issue because, there is a cap per flight, almost probably 35 to 40 people or 50 people. So, as I said, the prices are almost 4 to 5 times higher. Plus, they are just cancelling the flights without any reason, just to do business with higher prices. So, the next available flight is almost 1 month or 2 months away. So, for example, if I have my flights booked on this 19th July, but it got cancelled. Now I'm trying to rebook my flights, but through Qatar Airways, but there is no answer from the airways like when the next flight will be available. And also they want me to pay much higher price, which is not, it's not affordable for me. I already paid almost $4,000 to them.
$4,000 for a seat home. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something that the West Australian Premier has had to say today. Mark McGowan compiled the data on people who've gone through quarantine in that state, Western Australia, more than once. Almost 2,000 people who've flown into WA are in that category. He says more than 1,300 have now been through quarantine twice in WA, and that continues. 82 have been through 4 times. 8 5 times and 2 6 times. Do you think those figures accord with what we've been told about Australia's borders being closed?
So what I think is, they are doing COVID-19 test, RT-PCR test before flying, like 72 hours before the actual flight is. Then once they do on the airport itself, then after arriving in Australia. So at any of this stage, if somebody is positive, they don't allow that person to fly, right?
But with tens of thousands of Australians still stranded overseas, are you surprised to learn that there are a great number of people who have been in and out of the country in that same period?
Yeah, that's correct. If I talk about India, probably still 6,000 to 7,000 people are still stranded and stuck in India. And I don't know what the global figure is all over the world, probably 30,000 still Australians are stuck. So, if I talk about myself, the frustration is at peak because I have lost my job almost 4 to 5 months back. I used to work in Optus. So now my financial condition is very worst. I'm facing extreme financial hardship. I'm living through my, parents, on my parents' income here in India, which is very shameful for me, actually. So the situation all over is really worst here.
And so the premiers of WA and Queensland have today proposed reducing that cap on international travellers further, making it harder for people in your position to return home.
Yes.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, what should I say? I just pray that the situation gets better, not the harder, because as I said, it's more than a year. My bank balance has come to bottom, and I'm trying to get back to Australia. I've been in Australia from last 7 years. I'm permanent resident. I have my job there. I was having my job there. Now I'm paying my rent, my car mortgage is regularly. So the reaction, what should I say? I just pray that I get back to Australia as soon as possible so that I can start my life once again, because it has stopped from more than a year now.
Shyam Dave, we wish you the best with your return journey. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.